It all started 8 years ago when I joined Thompson and Associates as a junior analyst. That's where our paths first crossed. We were just colleagues then, working on different teams but sharing the same floor. Life was different back then. I was with someone else, living what I thought was my best life. 4 years passed, and my relationship of 5 years ended. It wasn't dramatic. We just grew apart, wanted different things. That's when things started changing between us at work. What began as coffee breaks turned into lunch dates, and soon we were meeting outside of work too. Nothing serious at first, just two people enjoying each other's company. About 3 years ago, she suggested we give it a real shot. Make it official. Things moved pretty fast after that. She had this genetic condition that put her at high risk for certain health issues, so she made the brave decision to undergo preventive surgery. I was there for her through it all, the consultations, the recovery, everything. It brought us closer than ever. We both sold our places and bought a house together. Then came the pregnancy news, and I couldn't have been happier. 6 months ago, I proposed. It felt like the perfect moment. The way she talked about our future, about wanting more kids despite initially planning for just one, it all seemed so perfect. She kept saying we should try for another right after our first because she needed another surgery soon due to her condition. Last week, she started her maternity leave. We were counting down, just 2 weeks until our little one would arrive. That's when my phone died. She offered me one of her old phones to use until my replacement arrived. She has two similar models, and that's where everything changed. I picked up what I thought was the empty phone she mentioned. She said something about pregnancy brain making her forgetful and told me to just delete whatever I needed to. But as I started going through it, I found old message threads with her friend Skylar from right before we got serious. What I read turned my world upside down. They were discussing potential fathers for her future children, treating it like some kind of checklist. There I was, described as the shortest and oldest of her options, but with the best prospects, stable job, good personality, shared interests. They analyzed everything about me, down to how I wasn't her usual type but was funny and decent looking enough. Skylar encouraged her to lock it down with me since time was running out. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I must have said something out loud because she noticed and suddenly realized which phone I had. She started panicking, trying to explain, but nothing she said made sense. I couldn't stand to be there another minute. I grabbed some clothes and walked out. Now I'm sitting in this bed and breakfast, 3 days later, staring at my phone filled with her messages and videos. She's crying, begging me to come home so we can talk. But I can't shake this feeling of being used, of our whole relationship being some kind of calculated decision rather than real love. The past 2 years feel like a lie now. The worst part is how my mind keeps going back and forth. One minute I'm reading those messages again, feeling sick about how she and Skylar discussed me like I was some kind of investment option. The next minute I'm remembering how she's been these past months, all the little things that made me believe this was real. She would send me random texts during the day just to say she loves me. Sometimes she'd look at me across the room and say she still gets butterflies, like we just started dating. When we were setting up the nursery, she kept talking about our future, how she wanted to take the baby to the park where we had our first real date, how she wanted them to have my sense of humor. The messages keep coming. This morning, she sent a video that I couldn't bring myself to watch for hours. When I finally did, I saw her sitting on our bed that we picked out together after moving in, crying and explaining how she did start this with practical considerations, but somewhere along the way, she fell completely in love with me. Skylar even reached out. She said she feels terrible about those old messages and that she's watched her best friend transform from someone making careful life plans to a woman head over heels in love. She told me about all the times my fiancé gushed about me when I wasn't around, how different it was from those early discussions. But here's what keeps eating at me. Would she have ever picked me if she weren't running out of time? All those other guys she was seeing while we were casual, was I just the safe choice? The reliable option? The backup plan that worked out okay? I keep thinking about that conversation we had last month, sitting on our back porch. She was talking about having a second baby right after this one, even though we'd always planned on just one. She said it was because she couldn't imagine having kids with anyone else. Was that real, or was it just another practical decision because of her upcoming surgery? The B&B owner, this older lady, noticed I was struggling and brought me some tea this evening. She didn't ask questions, just said that sometimes the messy parts of our past lead us to where we're supposed to be. It made me think about my own journey, How different would things be if I'd known my ex wasn't right for me sooner? Wouldn't I have been making practical decisions too? My phone buzzes again. It's my sister this time. She's reminding me that my fiancée is 8.5 months pregnant, scared, and alone in our house. She says whatever I decide long-term, I need to think about right now. The baby could come any day. My sister's right. I know she's right. But every time I think about going back, I see those messages in my head. I scroll through my recent photos, the ultrasound pictures, the video of her laughing while trying to put together the crib, the selfie she took of us at her last appointment. In every single one, she's looking at me the way I always wanted someone to look at me. Was that all an act? Can someone fake that kind of love for 2 whole years? Tonight, she sent a different kind of message. No crying, no begging. She just sent a picture of our half-finished nursery and wrote, "Whether you come back to me or not, this baby is going to need their father. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry you found out like this. But I'm not sorry I chose you, even if my reasons weren't perfect at first." Looking at that nursery picture, the crib we built together, the little stuffed animals we picked out, the wall decals we spent an entire Sunday putting up, something clicked. Maybe it's not about how things started. Maybe it's about what they became. I think about my own parents. Dad always said he asked Mom out because she was the prettiest girl in his accounting class. Mom rolled her eyes every time he told that story, but they built a life together that went way beyond that initial shallow attraction. They created something real from an imperfect beginning. The truth is, I wasn't exactly pursuing her for deep, meaningful reasons at first either. After my breakup, I liked having someone familiar to spend time with. Someone who made me laugh, who didn't pressure me for more than I could give. I wasn't thinking about forever then. I was just thinking about right now. But right now, there's a woman I love sitting in our house, carrying our child, probably scared out of her mind about both the upcoming birth and the thought of doing it alone. A woman who, regardless of how things started, has shown me nothing but love and commitment for the past 2 years. So I packed my bag and checked out of the B&B. The owner smiled and said something about time healing all wounds. Maybe she's right. Maybe time will help me process all this. But right now, there's somewhere I need to be. I drove home slowly, still turning everything over in my mind. When I walked in, she was asleep on the couch, one hand on her belly, dried tears on her face. I sat down in the armchair across from her, just watching her breathe. She must have sensed my presence because she opened her eyes. We talked until sunrise. Really talked. She admitted she was scared of ending up alone, of never having the family she wanted. She told me how what started as a practical choice turned into the best decision she ever made. How watching me stick by her through her surgery made her realize she'd found something real. I told her I was hurt, that I felt like a backup plan that worked out okay. She took my hand and placed it on her belly where the baby was kicking. "You were never the backup plan," she said. "You were the wake-up call. The person who made me realize I was looking for all the wrong things." I can't say everything is perfect now. I still have moments where those messages flash through my mind. But when I look at her, at the life we've built, at the family we're about to become, I know I want to be here. Maybe the beginning of our story isn't as romantic as I thought it was. But maybe that's okay. Maybe real love isn't about perfect beginnings. It's about choosing each other every day after. We've got 2 weeks until our baby arrives. That's 2 weeks to work on rebuilding trust, to focus on our future instead of our past. I don't know if we'll end up having that second baby she talked about. I don't know if things will ever feel exactly the same as they did before I found those messages. But I do know one thing. I want to find out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.